got it. All right. Let's see. Let me share my screen. Start off here. All right, greetings YouTube, greetings scholars. Let me see. So this brings us to, we are now at the end of week 7, right? So that means we can anticipate exam 2 to become available this upcoming Sunday at 11:11 a.m. It'll be due the following Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Okay, let me see. Yeah, so I don't know. Again, you know, I'm sleepy. So the thing is, it's probably a better idea to like listen to my opening announcements for either, if this is like my 2, well, I guess my 9 o'clock, because they would have the same announcement as you guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So this is College Algebra 2. Well, no, this is different for you guys. I mean, it's still essentially the same, but it's exam 2 is going to be available this Sunday. So the midterm grade, this is College Algebra 2 with no lab. Then basically what I'll do is, you know, 80% of your grade is going to come from the average for exams 1 and 2. So I'm going to take the average that you have for exam 1 and 2. That's going to be 80% of your overall grade. Your homework average, I'm going to scale it to 10% of your overall grade, and your quiz average, I'm going to scale it to 10% of your overall grade. Also, I'm under the impression that this upcoming Monday is fall break, right? I think that we have Monday and Tuesday off. If that's true, then I'll send an announcement, and more than likely we will not meet live this upcoming Monday. I think, but Pearson stuff will continue as normal, right? So you'll have, that stuff will still be available. I think on Monday, you know, we went through as much of the lecture as we could. So today I just want to try to go through as many homework questions as we can, okay? And yeah, okay, so like with this one, so I was working this one earlier, right? And I realized the shortcut, right? So this example, we have f of x is given, g of x is given. And then we are asked to evaluate these combination of functions, right? F plus g of 3, so on and so on. So the first one means f of 3 plus g of 3, right? So, you know, to write it out, you would have to plug in 3 for f, you get an answer. You plug in 3 for g, you get an answer. And then say your first answer plus your second answer, right? Now, the shortcut that we kind of discovered, instead of writing all that out, we did most of it in the calculator. Okay? So if I go to my y equals, this is a TI 83 plus, right? So my f, I have x squared, okay, minus 6x. And then for my g, I have 8 minus x cubed, okay? So I'll let y1 be my f, I'll let y2 be my g. So I'm going to go back to my home screen. So then for part A, if they want f plus g of 3, that means we're doing f of 3 plus g of 3. So I'm going to call on that function that I just put in. So my f was the first one. F of 3 plus, then I want to call on that function. Now I want to call on the second one, y2, because that's where we put g of 3. Okay, and it should spit out our result, negative 28. Okay, enter. Okay. And again, I'll check for any latecomers again around the 15-minute mark. So then g minus f of 1. So this means g of 1 minus f of 1. So if we go to variables, function, so now we want g, which is y2, g of 1 minus variables, y1, g of 1 minus f of 1. We get 12, okay? So we can do 12 there. Okay, let's go ahead and do this one. F times g of negative 1 So there's my f of -1 times my g of -1. Okay. We got 63 there, okay. And then g divided by f of 4. So g of 4 divided by f of 4. Okay. And so there we got 7. So I'm just going to put in 7, keep it moving. Okay, hopefully that made sense. So if anything is not clear, feel free to unmute yourself to get my attention. That's the recommendation. You can also type it. You can also type your question in the chat. But I check the chat a little bit less frequently. Okay, so this one, we'll use a calculator when possible, but then if it wants an exact answer using radicals, that means if we get a long decimal, we're going to have to do it by hand, right? All right, let's start by clearing this out. Clear. So our f in this case is 1 divided by the square root of x plus 5. So we're going to say 1 divided by square root of x plus 5. Okay. And then g is 4x plus 1. 4x plus 1. Okay. So if we go back to the home, back home, okay. So then f plus g of -4, so I'm going to go to my variables. F of -4 plus, come on, my g of -4. Okay. Let's see, hopefully we get an exact result. We got lucky there. So we got -14. Okay. So then f minus g of 0. Okay, I'm just going to call on what I had. So f of 0. So this needs to be 0 minus g of 0. Okay. Now if we get a decimal, so we got a decimal, so that means that we need to do this one by hand. Okay, we got to write this one out. Let me see the time. Okay. Let's get a copy. Okay. So we're here. This one. All right, all right. Let's take this. Drop it here. All right. And I like to do like this. Okay. And it just hits me like out of nowhere. I'll be fine. And then all of a sudden, okay. Find each of the following values given this f and this g. Okay, so for part, actually, I think we're on part B. So we're evaluating f minus g of 0. Again, this means we want to do f of 0 minus g of 0. Okay. So then let's do f of 0 on its own. So we have this x plus 5 inside the square root, and all of that's under 1. Okay. And again, we're replacing x with 0. Okay. So then that ends up being 1 over the square root of 5. Okay, let's go ahead and do g of 0. 4x plus 1. 4x plus 1. X is 0 in this case, so that result is 1. So then f minus g, this is going to be 1 over square root of 5 minus 1. Okay, what's the time? Okay, let me submit this one. Let's try to finish this one out, then I'll check for latecomers. Let's copy. 1 over the square root of 5 minus 1. Because it says an exact answer with radicals. So we got 1 over the square root, like this, square root of 5 minus 1. Okay. Let me try, let's try the calculator to see if that works. So f times g of -1, I'm going to just use what I typed before. So that's going to be f of -1. Instead of minus is times g of -1. Okay. We got lucky. We got -1.5. Okay. And then let's f divided by g of 2. Let's see if we can do it here. That needs to be what? 2f of 2 divided by g of 2. Okay, we did get a decimal. So then we need to work that one out. Okay, A, B, C, D. F divided by G of 2. Okay, so this is going to be f of 2 divided by G of 2. Okay. All right, there's f and g. So then I guess we can work here. If we do f of 2, we got our square root of x. It's 5 under 1. But our x in this case is 2. So that ends up being okay, let's go ahead and do g of 2. And it's always weird because like I have to just power through this and then it just comes right back. It's the weirdest thing. I'm like, man, I don't know if it's getting older or what. I think that's what, 9. So then ultimately, it looks like we're going to have 1 over the square root of 7 divided by 9. But 9 is the same as 9 over 1. So when you say one fraction divided by another, in this form, we can say keep, change, flip. If we do keep, change, flip, when we say one fraction divided by another, then we're going to get 9 square root of 7 under 1. Okay. 1 divided by 9 times the square root of 7. Here we got 1 divided by, you're doing that thing again. 1 divided by 9 times the square root of 7. Okay. Okay, so let me check. Let me go on to the next question. Let me check Zoom. Oh, we got a lot of people. Okay. All right, all right. Let me get these guys. It's a JK. And we got a lot of interesting names. Oh, almost missed them. Okay. Student. Guess he got booted off. Okay. All right. So welcome. If you're just joining us, you're gonna have to, watch the recording to get the announcements. Yeah. So. All right. Does someone have a question? No. Okay. I think we're okay. And the chat looks clear. Oops. Wrong keyboard. This one. All right. So this is where we left off. Question 3. So given this F and this G, okay, I think we could do a lot of it here without having to write it out. So F plus G is the first one. So that's going to be basically 2x squared plus 5x plus 9. Okay, let me hit enter. Next one. Okay, so because the domain of F is all reals, right? F, if you think about it, is a line. 5x plus 9, it's like y equals mx plus b. So the domain of a diagonal line is all reals. G is a parabola. It's a U-shaped curve. This has been stretched vertically. But a parabola has a domain all reals. So this simplified form is going to be the intersection of those with, and there are no restrictions here. So this one's going to be all reals. Oops. Okay. So then F minus G. So then we say F minus G. Now, if we're saying minus G, notice we don't have to distribute that negative. So then F is 5. Let's see if it's working. 5x plus 9. I might have to zoom out just because, it's just kind of jammed a little bit. And now it's being temperamental. Minus G of x is 2x squared. Okay, I think that's it. So I just said the 5x plus 9 minus 2x squared. We didn't need to distribute a negative. So this should be good. And again, it's just all reals for the same reasoning as the previous one. F times G. So if we say F times G, looks like we might need to distribute that 2x squared. So if we distribute that 2x squared, 5 times 2 is going to be what? 10x to the power of 3. 10x to the power of 3 plus 9 times 2 is 18x squared. All reals. Okay. And then F divided by G. Okay, so then on top, we're going to have 5x plus 9. And then on bottom, just 2x squared. Now, again, it's still all reals, but then remember, we have to throw out any x that makes the denominator 0. So we want all numbers on the number line, but the only x that makes the denominator 0 here is 0. So we want everything except 0. The solution choice that captures everything except 0 is going to be B. It's going to be B. Okay. All right. So we have this F and this G, kind of the same deal, right? So F plus G. Let's see, F plus G, so we can do x cubed plus 5x squared minus 4x plus 2. Okay. No restrictions, right? We got a parabola and a cubic, so both of those domains are all reals. So their intersection is going to be all reals. F minus G of x. Okay. So then we don't need to distribute the negative, so we're going to say, come on, 5x squared minus 4x plus 2. So we're saying minus, right? So minus x cubed. Okay, thank you. Domain, no restrictions, right? F times G, so F times G, let's distribute the x cubed into F. If we distribute x cubed, we're gonna get 5x to the power of 5. 4x minus 4x to the power of 4 plus 2x cubed. Okay. No restrictions, so all reals right here. Okay. So then F divided by G, on top, 5x squared minus 4x plus 2. And then on bottom, we got x cubed okay, we'll go with this. Now the restriction here again, we can't divide by 0, so it's still all reals, but in this case, divide x when x is 0, that makes the denominator 0, so we have to throw that number out. So the only one of these options that captures all numbers except 0 is going to be B. Everything except 0. Okay. All right, so we have these functions for f and g. Same kind of deal, right? Okay, f plus g. So then the first one is going to be square root of x, get out of the square root, plus x minus 9. Okay. What's the domain? Okay, so in general, it would be all reals, but remember, now we do have a restriction here. We can't take the square root of negatives, so we need to factor it in. So x has to be greater than or equal to 0. So that's going to appear as a form of 0 to infinity. Okay. F minus g, f minus g. So now g, the negative is in front of g. So we need to be prepared to distribute that negative, right? So we're going to have the square root of x. Now, if we distribute that negative, it's going to give us minus x and plus 9. Okay. Same kind of deal. Argument as the first part, as far as the domain, 0 to infinity. F times G. F times G, okay. So we need to distribute the square root. That's going to give us X times the square root of X minus 9 times the square root of X, okay. Same kind of deal. Restriction is we can't take the square root of a negative. So 0 to infinity. F divided by G. So then we're going to say divides. On top, we have square root of X. On bottom, X minus 9. Okay. Domain. So from the top, you know, we still can't take the square root of negative, so X has to be greater than or equal to 0. We also need to throw out the X that makes the denominator 0, which is when X is 9. So we want all the numbers from 0 to infinity, excluding 9. So then 0 up to 9. And we're going to say union 9 to infinity. Okay. Let's try to keep going for right at 10 minutes. Let's go for at least 10 to 15 minutes, somewhere in that range. Give me just a moment. You guys are hanging in strong. Let's do like this. Okay, so someone put in the chat, you know, they're just getting full access, which is okay. And there was a question about the late penalty. So I'm only going to crunch grades after exam 2 is due, right? So, you know, you may or may not have gotten exam 1 in there, but you can still earn up to 90% on that assignment, right? So anything that's late, the highest you can earn is a 90. You would have to get a perfect score to get a 90. Yeah, right. So you can just, if you've gotten full access, you can just get started and get it submitted, get your assignment submitted as soon as possible and get caught up. And then exam 2 doesn't become available until the Sunday. Now, if you're going back, I think exam 1 might have a prerequisite. So you might, hopefully you've been practicing all the while. You know, and so I think you got to get at least a 70% on the quizzes in order to access the exam, right? So, you know, that whole thing of the late penalty, it applies all the way until the very end. The hard deadline for all assignments is like December 9th, that Friday at the end of the week of finals. So that's when everything locks out, because we have to calculate final grades. But for right now, everything should be available that's in the past, and then unlimited attempts, and there's only a 10% late penalty. Right. So if you have below a 90, you can do any assignment over again until you get a higher score. Yeah, hopefully that answered that question. Okay. Let's see. Oh, let's go back to sharing the screen. Without like putting anybody on blast or anything. Okay. So this one asks us to use a diagram to evaluate G of f of x, and then, okay. So G of f of x, again, this open circle is called composition. It just means the second function inside the first function. G of f of x, all right? The second function inside the first function. Okay, I think I'm gonna try to work it here without writing it down. So G is 3x plus 10. So I'm gonna do my 3. Oh, you're doing that thing again? Okay, let's go like this. Still throwing attention. Oh, maybe I'm zoomed in too far. Close this up. Okay. So now, if I look at if f is on the inside, so let's do G first. I'm going to say 3x, but I'm going to replace my x with a blank set of parentheses. 3x plus 10, right? But now we want to replace each x with f of x. So that's why I did a blank parenthesis. So that means on the inside we have x squared minus 2, okay? So then if we distribute the 3, we're going to get 3x squared. Oops. 3x squared, and that's going to be a minus 6. Minus 6 plus 10, I think is plus 4. Okay, let me get rid of the extra stuff. Right. I think that's it. Okay. So now we've got an expression for g of f of x. So then we have g of f of 2. So basically, we want to plug 2 into that answer that we got. So 2 squared is 4 times 3 is 12, plus 4 is 16. Come on, 16. Okay. And then we want to plug in negative 3 into that result. Negative 3 squared is a positive 9, times 3 is 27, plus 4 is 31. 31. Okay. Okay. I am burnt. Let me see. And I still got 2 more classes after you guys. We got this f and this g. We're asked to find f of g of 0. Okay. With this one, I think we can do this one in the calculator. All right. So let's try it in the calculator. Let me just clear everything. Okay. Let's go here it is. So if I go to my y equals, I'm going to let f be 4x. Nope. 4x plus 1. My g is 4x squared minus 5. 4x squared minus 5. Okay. And we're asked to find f of g of 0. Okay. So let's quit. So our f was the first function. So let me call the first function of g, which is the second function. So now I'm going to go variables, and I'm going to call on the second function. And then when x is 0, this closes off the inside, this closes off the outer function, okay? And we get negative 19. Let's see if it works. Negative 19. Okay, hopefully that made sense, right? We were able to do that one in the calculator. Sometimes you can use it, you know, and just keep it moving if you know what you're doing. Okay, was that it? It can't be it. That was question 7. Okay, let f be this, g be this. Okay, all right. So g is on the inside. Let's go ahead and write the outside. So it's going to be f is 5x plus 6. Okay, and then we're going to replace each x with g. G is 3x squared minus 2, so that goes on the inside. 3x squared. 3x squared minus 2. But now we're replacing the x with negative c. So let's do it right here. This needs to be parentheses negative c. Okay. So then we need to kind of simplify this. Now that negative c squared becomes a positive c, so that made things drastically more simple. All right, so that's that. And then if we distribute the 5, this turns into a 15. That's going to be a negative 10 plus 6 is ultimately negative 4. Negative 4. Okay, let's get rid of all of this. And let's get rid of this. Okay. Do not factor. Let's go with this.
Could you redo that one?
Sure.
I was trying to pay attention, but you went too fast.
No worries. Okay, let's write this one out. So this will probably be the last one. Man, I think what it was, I was just tired of talking to myself because as soon as he spoke, I just got this jolt of energy. I'm like way back. It's like a second win. I was like, oh, I'm back, baby. Let's get a copy of this guy. Okay, so we're going to take that. Come on. right here. Hurry. Okay. Can we move that up? This, like this. Let's just move it. Can we just, okay. Let's, like I keep, you know, I really enjoy the presentations by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Kevin Hart. Like, they're hilarious. And so, but I keep trying to watch DC League of Super Pets, and I just keep falling asleep. I've tried to watch it about 4 times now, and I'm only making it through about 10 or 15 minutes. Next thing I know, I'm waking up and it's like hours later. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Okay, so let's start here. We're asked to find f of g of negative c, right? Again, that circle means the second function inside the first function. That's not multiplication. None of this is multiplication here. Okay, so again, this means f of g of negative c. All right, second function inside the first function. Okay. So then that means f of, now g of negative c, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of, because when you plug in a negative c, let's just do this. 3 times negative c squared minus 2. That's g of negative c. All right. So then what we're doing, we're writing f like normal, but we're replacing the x's with the green thing. So then we're going to have 5x plus 6. And just for the sake of being consistent, like that. Again, now we're replacing the x with this guy. And again, negative c squared becomes positive c, so we got 3c squared minus 2. Okay. So then if we simplify, we distribute, right? We're going to get 15c squared minus 10 plus 6. So then we get 15c squared minus 4, right? This is all the stuff that I didn't write out when I did it the first time. I just kind of did it audibly and just kept updating the text, right? My recommendation, you definitely want to write this stuff out. Like, you don't want to try to do this in your head. Okay. Let's do one more. Let's do one more, then that'll be it. So we made it almost half. Come on. Let f of x be this, find f of 4. Okay. So here, let's just write f of x. So we got 4x minus 6. But then what are we replacing the x with? F of 4, right? We can, I guess, you know what? We can just do this in the calculator because this is evaluating. So let's just do it in the calculator. That'll be much more simple here. So let's clear all this out. Get rid of this and this. So now we have f of x is 4x minus 6, 4x minus 6, okay? I want to call on my f of, now the inside function is f again. And then we want to evaluate when x is 4. And double close, 34. Let's see if 34 works. Okay. All right, guys. I think I'm done. All right. Are there any questions? Any questions? All right. Let's see. Let me go ahead and make a copy of this available for you guys. This is College Algebra 1. This is fine. Send the box. All right. So you should be able to access get a copy of all the stuff you saw me writing. If there aren't any burning questions, we're going to end the session here. And from one beautiful mind to another, enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. Peace.
Thank you.
Yep, my pleasure.